What's up everybody, Anime World here today. I'm back with another video, this time a One Piece video. Nice. I wanted to cover, what if the Rocks Pirates died, if any of you know them. They're a powerful pirate group in Roger and Garp's era. Who were comprised of almost all of the old Yonko when they're in their younger days. And I wanted to cover, what if they just didn't exist? What if they didn't impact the story as they did? And there's gonna be drastic changes. You'll see why. Most of it is indirect, which is surprising to me. So yeah, here's my intro. Okay, starting off the timeline, if Roger and Garp succeeded in just killing all of the Rocks Pirate members, the first victim would be Kaido, since he got his devil fruit at God Valley by Big Mom. But since they're both dead, he never actually eats the fruit. So the dragon, his fish fruit, it probably would have been given to the world government. Probably would have given to some random marine or something. Just either way, it's not important to the story no more. With Big Mom dead, Lin Katakuri has to take over the Big Mom pirates, since this is pretty much the beginning of when he tried to become stronger for his siblings, and without their mother there, he's the next strongest person to take over. And in like this, he probably become even more stronger than we see him in the original, since he has to literally carry everybody. Or he could just take over the crew at a later time once he's become more experienced, since he's still a kid here. Of course, with Whitebeard dead, Weevil would never exist. As if some of you manga readers, spoilers, I guess some of this video will be spoilers, so just be warned. Weevil was a clone of Whitebeard, implied to be a clone. So without Whitebeard to be, the inspiration by Vegapunk, Weevil would never been created. With Kaido dead, he's never captured 7 times, so King would have been stuck in Vegapunk's facility being experimented on. So for all we know, the Seraphim would have been created earlier, which I don't really see makes a difference. I don't even think that even makes sense, since it didn't matter. So yeah, King would be ran off the story. He'd just be a slave, I guess. Of course, if Kaido is dead, he doesn't get the dragon fruit. That means Vegapunk never actually makes the dragon fruit, artificial devil fruit. Yeah, so him getting it wrong doesn't matter anymore, because he never even made it. He doesn't have inspiration for it anymore, since Kaido's not an experimental for him. So, of course, in the future, Momo never gets the fruit. Probably just starves to death. But that doesn't really matter, as you'll see later in the video. Marco, he still becomes a doctor. He got his devil fruit that could heal people, but he never joins Whitebeard Pirates. So I forgot to search up where Marco was born, but wherever it was, he just stays there. He doesn't come here. He doesn't go out to sea. He doesn't have any reason to be a pirate. Odin, without Whitebeard even alive right now, there's no crew that comes to Wano to recruit Odin. That wasn't intentional, but Odin doesn't get to join any pirate crews. Sure, there could be other pirate crews that probably went to Wano, but we don't know of them. And the Roger Pirates didn't intend to go there, so yeah, Odin never gets to become a pirate and has to be forced to stay in the flower capital and just live out his days until he finds some girl that's, I don't know. He probably still finds Toki, actually. Since he still traveled to the past, nothing really changes that, so he would have probably married her if he actually found her. Toki, without Odin going out to sea, Toki would have just died to those bandit people that tried to threaten her life. Literally once she just got to the past. So, yeah, pretty quick death. The next one is Teach. Without Whitebeard, he would have just stayed on his little island where he would have been sad. You know, no friends, alone, loneliness. And, he would have still wanted to become a pirate so he could enact his plan of anarchy. But that doesn't happen early on, so he has to wait until the future to actually do it, since right now he's too weak. With Yamato, of course, Kaido's dead. A lot of Kaido in this video. But yeah, since Kaido's dead, Yamato never even exists, since he's his daughter. So she also never gets to eat her dog fruit. Since Odin never gets to mate with Toki and marry her, both of their children, Hiyori and Momonosuke, are never born. Because, you know, they're dead. Sorry, Toki's dead. But Odin probably gets different children. The Ed War never even happens because Roger and Shiki never get to have that war since Shiki's dead. Maybe someone else enacts the Ed War, whoever's strong enough to. Buggy and Shanks, they still join their crews, the Roger crew. Just they never get to have competition with the Whitebeard pirates, so you know they're still good. They're still all right. But without Odin actually leaving Wano to be a pirate, he never meets the Roger pirates, so they stay. They never get to continue their journey to find the One Piece without Odin being able to read poneglyphs, since he never joins them without Whitebeard. So by the time Roger gets his sickness, he would have just disbanded the crew. And, you know, the crew would have been even more sad because they didn't get to finish their goal. It would have been pretty tragic. So Roger never becomes Pirate King and just still goes to the South Blue to, you know, meet Rouge. Eventually, Roger would have just gave himself up to the Marines since he's still sick, even though he failed in finding the One Piece. So yeah, he still talks to Garp about adopting his almost born son, Ace, and Garp reluctantly accepts. You know, Shiki's dead, of course, so he never tries to break out Roger to fight him. And yeah, because of that, Marineford isn't half destroyed, and it would have been looked a lot better in the Marineford arc. And yeah, Roger gets executed, and he never gets to. He just dies tragically, bruh. He never becomes a Pirate King. But he still inspires people to go find it because I guess he's more open about how to actually find this vast treasure. But I guess it doesn't really matter because no one believes him if he never actually found it himself. So the pirate era would have never been created. And because the Rock's pirates are dead, the Yonko system is never created. Because Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido are dead. Only Shanks is here. Without any Yonko system, the Warlord system doesn't exist. Because the reason why there's a balance of power is to equal the Yonkos. Well, Yonko versus, you know, all four against world government. So because of that, because that type of system doesn't happen, the warlords are never, they're never needed. Because the warlord system never happened, well, because Kaido's dead as well, Moria still goes to Wano like normal to get Ryuma's sword and corpse, but he leaves peacefully without losing his crew, the Gecko Pirates, I think they're called. And because of that, he never becomes depressed and probably never makes the Thrillbark Pirates or recruits Perona, Absalon, and all of them. So, but maybe he could have recruited them just under a different crew name. But you know, just to make this video already pretty weird, I'm gonna just say they don't join. Without Whitebeard or the warlord system, Jinbei has to protect Fishman Island all by himself without any help. Well, I guess he'll have help, but he's the only strong guy that they have to actually protect them. So there would have been a lot of constant fighting since no one fears Whitebeard, since he's dead. Without Whitebeard, Crocodile never challenges him and would have never lost his dream to keep being a pirate and rule the world, but never wants to become Pirate King since that's not a thing. Yeah, so without Kaido being alive, Wano wouldn't have ever been taken over by Kaido. So Orochi wouldn't get as leeway as he got before. And the Wano country would have been peaceful. So because of that, Odin wouldn't have died, and the Scabbards wouldn't have been sent to the future. So they get to grow in Wano old and normal, pretty much. Because of that, they're never imprisoned, meaning Ushimaru, I think his name was, wouldn't have been killed, and he would have got to live out his days in Wano. Pretty cool, you know. Zoro's, what was it? Uncle, granduncle. In Wano, Odin would have eventually got that dog fruit from that Yamato was supposed to get, and he would have ate it because because since he can't become a pirate, he might as well protect Wano as its guardian, and would have got that dog fruit. Well, on top of his own very strong haki before he even joined Whitebeard Pirates and Roger Pirates. In Alabasta, Crocodile would have not made himself known to the world government because he doesn't have a warlord system to protect him. So no one would know Crocodile's ruling it in the shadows. So technically he's not even ruling it at all to become its hero. He still creates Baroque works, and they don't know that he's Mr. Zero. Still. Boa, she still has to protect her kingdom without the warlord system, so she would have had had to do a lot of fighting, but probably would have gotten a better relationship with the Kuja warriors, since she has to protect them every single day. Fisher Tiger still dies like normal, and Arlong wants revenge, but Kizaru beats him up and sends him to Impel Down. Arlong has to stay there, because without Warlord system, Jinbei wouldn't have been able to get him out. So, Arlong would have never escaped and made havoc on the East Blue because of Jinbei. And I think you guys can see where this is going. It's gonna be a problem. So yeah, as normal, Big Mom wanted to do gigantification, but because he's dead, that never happened. So the kids on Punk Hazard, they're never kidnapped. Wow, weird word for that. And yeah, Caesar Clown never has to really do much since he's not ordered around to do stuff. Yeah, as I'm already here, Arlong never is released to the East Blue, and he never conquers 20 villages the towns, including Kokoyashi Village. So Bellamy never dies, and Nami never joins his crew and wants to gain money to free the village. So she never gains an obsession over money and never becomes a thief. So she would have just mostly stayed in Kokoyashi Village until she just felt like going out to draw a map of the world, which could have been after the series or way before the beginning of the series. Yeah, like normal, Doflamingo would have taken over Dressrosa and taken over as king, but he would have stayed the same. Would have been normal. He would, because he blackmailed the elders to not do anything to him. So he basically orders them around. So he could have just used this reason to take over Dressrosa, and the citizens would have been suspicious why a pirate is taking over a country and the world government is doing nothing, but they would have been alright since they're safe, and that's all that matters. Like, they wanted to. Like, been normal. Crocodile still finds Robin, and she joins him as just another mob to join to protect herself, and he would need her to find Pluton. But because he doesn't become a hero and give a image to the citizens, since they never would have liked him anyway, he's just a pirate, he would have enacted his plan way earlier, as you can see, 6 years ago. So he would have tried to force Cobra to tell him where Pluton is, and they would have tried to find it. They found it under the underground. And Crocodile would be mad when Robin doesn't tell him what's on it, since in reality is actually at Wano. So, like normal, Crocodile would have just killed Robin right there and left. Probably to never be a pirate again, since there's no way he's gonna beat the admirals to actually take over the world or destroy it. And Shanks still becomes the best pirate in the seas. Like, there's no other Yonko crews to challenge him. Because of that, him being the most influential pirate, strongest pirate, most liked, most feared, he's basically the pirate king. Since you don't just have to gain the One Piece to be pirate king, but because Shanks is not on like that level, well, he pretty much is to the citizens' eyes, but you just say he's not, because he's not the richest, he's not the strongest man in the world, he's just Shanks. So you just call him the best pirate in the seas. With Big Mom dead, what's it called? The Nox Pirates? I think so. They never go to Whole Cake, and most of them never die to Big Mom. So they still travel around the seas trying to find poneglyphs, and Pedro would have still stayed on the crew. Right? Yeah, I think so. So, with Kaido dead, he never forces Doflamingo to make Caesar Clown make Smile. So Smile Fruit is never even created, and Doflamingo and Caesar Clown barely have anything to do with each other anymore, really. With Cobra, I wouldn't say dead, since Crocodile doesn't have a reason to kill him. He still becomes king, so Vivi stays as queen and never goes undercover in Baroque works, because they enacted their plan way earlier than before. So she would have stayed princess the whole time until the beginning of the series, and now. With Whitebeard dead, Ace, he still becomes a pirate and carries spade pirates and goes Fishman Island, but in Fishman Island he never declares war by burning Whitebeard's flag, because that doesn't even exist. So Jinbei wouldn't have been attracted and caught Ace's attention, or caught Jinbei's attention, and they would have never even became friends or enemies. And yeah, Ace still goes to Wano, and there he meets Odin instead of Yamato, and they become friends. And this time, Odin uses this chance to join the Spade Pirates. But Odin is actually very freaking strong, so he would have actually trained the Spade Pirates and using Haki, but Ace already knew Haki and was pretty strong himself, so in a way, Odin could be like his older brother to become stronger and be friends and share beer, sake. The world government would have Sengoku would have found out that Ace is the son of Goldie Roger and wanted to capture him by sending Marines after him. But because Odin is so powerful, he would have protected Ace. So they would have held off on doing that. And they would think about sending admirals to them, but bruh, it's just one pirate. The citizens would be very suspicious. So they would have let Ace off the hook for at least a bit, not too long. Okay, so if Big Mom never existed, she was never alive, she's dead, she would have never allied with the Vinsmokes to gain their weaponry. And, they would have never been set for failure in Whole Cake Island. And just because of that, they would have never been interested in finding Sanji to marry Pudding. And Pudding doesn't exist. Without Ace joining the Whitebeard Pirates, he never meets Teach, because Teach never joins the Whitebeard Pirates. And probably never becomes a pirate yet. So Ace has no reason to go hunting Teach down. And Teach would have just left his little island to finally become a pirate, probably as an inversion to Luffy beginning his journey in the beginning of the series. So he would have created the Blackbeard Pirates then, a little earlier than the original timeline. And then finally, this Luffy starts his journey to become this pirate, being inspired by Shanks. And as you see these X's, this is a huge problem because of this timeline. And as you can see, what I've done with Nami not being a thief, and probably not joining Luffy because she would have never left her village or left her village too early. Yeah, that's kind of what happens with the rest of the crew. With Zoro, he would have still joined Luffy because, nothing really changed. The Rocks Pirates never impacted his life. Yonko never impacted, or Warlords. So he would have still joined. Usopp would have still joined. He still has a connection to Yasopp. Luffy has a connection to Yasopp as well. So he would have still joined Luffy. Same with Sanji. He also would have still joined. He wasn't impacted by the Rocks, Yonko, or Warlords. So Luffy would have had 3 crew members going to the Grand Line. And Whiskey Peak never happens because Baroque Works agents don't just stay there trying to get pirates. There's no really need for Baroque Works anymore. And Vivi never becomes bandit, pirate, bounty hunter, So they would have just went into so their next island would have actually been Little Garden. And that would have still went the exact same, just literally no villains. The next island would have been Alabasta, just where they met Ace, and that could have been the same if Ace just wanted to see his brother. That could have been the same. But after that, Luffy and the Strides would have just left the kingdom. They have no reason to travel the desert. Oh yeah, did I mention that they don't go to Drum Kingdom? So they never try to get Chopper to heal Nami, because Nami isn't a part of the crew. So Nami and Chopper don't join the crew. And yeah, because they leave Alabasta, they never get Robin because she's dead already. So They never get their archaeologists to read poneglyphs, which would be a huge problem later. The next crewmate would have been Frankie, and uh, this might be a spoiler, so I'm just gonna skip ahead and say Frankie, Jinbei, and Brooke. Surprisingly, Brooke do not join. Not really surprising, as you are literally about to see. So because Ace doesn't try to go capture Teach, Teach would have still gotten a liking to Luffy and Jaya. So he would have, like in around Water 7, after Water 7 saga, would have tried to capture the Straw Hat Pirates, which is just Luffy actually. And obviously Luffy's too weak right now, so he would have lost to Teach, who had the dark fruit eventually, and even without the dark fruit he's still very powerful and would have destroyed Luffy, not even a contest. So Luffy would have been captured by the Blackbeard pirates, and there's no reason to keep the others alive. So Sanji, Usopp, and Zoro would have died. There's just 3 of them who are all weak compared to Blackbeard. So Luffy would have been sent to Impel Down, and Blackbeard would have gained his bounty. Since he's not a warlord, he can't be. So he just gains a bounty of Luffy for money purposes. And Luffy would have been sent to be executed since his danger level was on the level of Ace, since he's the son of Dragon, the revolutionary world's worst criminal. So Luffy, he wouldn't have been sad like Ace, as you can see here. Even though he's about to be executed, he still wants to be king of the pirates since Lodgetown. So yeah, I forgot to mention that Luffy doesn't want to be king of the pirates. He just wants to be a great pirate, since king of the pirates isn't a thing. Sad. So yeah, Ace would have heard of Luffy execution, so would have wanted to break it to Impel Down and go and save his brother. And yeah, Ace doesn't get Jinbei's help since he's in Fishman Island. He doesn't get Crocodile's help since he's probably it's somewhere random. And even in this timeline, if Robin told him it's in Wano, he would have been in Wano and just died there. Mr. One, who knows what happens to him. And he would have got Frankie. Yeah, Frankie would have been sent to Impel Down because the Straw Hats never have to fight the CP9, sorry. So, because Robin is dead. So Frankie would have been sent to Impel Down without the Straw Hats' help, and they would have got the world government would have got Pluton if they dissected Frankie to see where it is, which I don't know why they think that. So either way, Frankie sent to Impel Down, I would have helped Ace go find Luffy, just cause, you know, even though he probably still hates Luffy right now. Eventually Marineford would have happened, and so as you can see, a lot more people come than normal. Rayleigh would have came, seen that this boy has a straw hat, so he's probably what Shanks was talking about. The red hair pirates would have came because that's literally Roger's successor. They have to save him. Dragon and revolutionaries would have come. Before I thought only Dragon would come, but then I thought the revolutionaries love Dragon and they respect him, and they also respect Luffy because he's his son. So why would they not come? So I just thought maybe at least a group would come, at least enough to come and save them. And the Spade Pirates would have came with the help of Odin, since he's a part of their group. And this is just a stomp. The world government, they're getting destroyed right now, and they can't do this. The war probably would have ended even earlier since Shanks is here and would have wanted to stop it. Eventually, Sabo, Ace, and Luffy would have met each other, all reunited after so long, and they would have been happy that Sabo was alive, and they would have saved Luffy. And Luffy isn't like Ace, who would have fell for the "your daddy" joke. So Luffy would have survived, and Marineford wouldn't have ever happened. Rayleigh would have eventually met Luffy again, not again, just first time, and would have wanted to train Luffy in hockey for one and a half years, and Luffy would have learned all 3 forms of hockey, so he can never be weak again, and wanted to protect his crew. But now Luffy doesn't have a crew, so after 2 years he would have went to Fishman Island with no friends, and he would have, met the Fishmans, had fun, but then left because he has no reason to literally stay here. Jinbei would have just told him to leave if they ever met. And the Ryuju family would have been captured by Hody Jones and executed by him as a Don of the Fishmans. And Jinbei would have been executed as well, since he would have been captured too, like normal. But eventually, when Hody tries to invade Mary Joie, which happens later in the timeline, he would have been executed because he's too weak. The admirals would have killed him. So he would have never enacted his plan to kill the Celestial Dragons. Luffy would have eventually went to Zou and met Zunisha and the Minx, but he would have left immediately. He has no reason to stay there, and beast pirates don't destroy everything. They also don't even show that much gratitude to Luffy without the Straw Hats, like Chopper and Sanji and Nami. Of course, Whole Cake Island never existed, so Luffy doesn't have literally no reason to go there, even especially since Sanji's dead right now. So Luffy would have just went on his way to the next island. Eventually, Luffy would have wanted to go to... He would have wanted to go to Punk Hazard, since he probably would have gotten a distress call. But, of course, he would have left immediately, seeing how hot and cold it either is, and has no reason to stay there without friends to save. But his next island would have been that Thunder Island. I think it was called Raiju Island, or Raijin Island. And he would have fought Smoker there. And, of course, Luffy would have defeated him. Smoker, Luffy just has hockey now. He could finally touch him and just destroys him. Eventually, Luffy would have went to Dressrosa, and I'm guessing you guys are seeing the pattern. Without any friends, Luffy has no reason to stay here, so he would have just went and left. Especially with no flame fruit to reclaim, so he would have just left. Dressrosa would have stayed under Doflamingo's control. Eventually, Luffy would have went to Wano. I'm guessing you guys are seeing that pattern here. No friends, leaves no reason to save them because there's no need for saving. Kaido is dead right now. And yeah, next island would have been Egghead Island, where Luffy meets Vegapunk, and they would have became friends. Vegapunk probably would have joined Luffy's crew as his new first mate. And because, he has no friends. He's literally went on all of post time skip without doing anything. And yeah, and here we don't know what happens. Probably goes to Elbaf next. And I don't know how that's gonna go, especially without any friends to motivate him. So yeah, in the end, Ace would have become Pirate King. Like, pretty much the reason Ace died is because he had the potential to be Pirate King. But that couldn't have happened. He couldn't have been protagonist, so Luffy needed to be Pirate King and needed a motivation to actually do it. So I would have killed Ace off. But because Luffy can't become Pirate King, literally, Ace is alive right now, he would have just became Pirate King. He would have become strong enough, and yeah, Luffy would have been a great pirate himself in strength, not crew. And that's the end of the story. Hope you guys liked the video. Subscribe. This is a interesting what if to me. Probably might do some other One Piece videos, what ifs. And yeah, thank you for watching.